Good morning and welcome to Cindy's Corner. Today, boys and girls, we're talking about fairy tales. And we know that fairy tales always start with once upon a time. And they end with happily ever after. So remember that about a fairy tale. If a story starts and it says once upon a time or lived happily ever after, you know that's a fairy tale. So if you've got the book Goldilocks and the Three Bears, this one is retold by Jan Brandt, one of our favorite authors and illustrators. And it looks just like her books, the hat and the mitten. And if you've got this book, go get it so you can follow along. And then I'm going to ask you to do something creative. Okay, so get ready. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, go ahead and hit that thumbs up right there. And share me with your friends. Make sure you've subscribed. Make my day. And make sure you've subscribed so you can share me so that your friends don't miss story time. This, my AR testers, is a level 4-4. And this one is our title page. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Retold and illustrated by Jan Brandt. Looks like her with her animals over here. Here's the house. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in the wood. One of them was a little, small, wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. Kind of like mama, daddy, and baby. They each had a, excuse me, they each had a bowl of porridge. A little bowl for the little, small, wee bear. A middle-sized bowl for the middle-sized bear. And a great, huge bowl for the great, huge bear. And they each had a chair to sit in. A little chair for the little, small, wee bear. A middle-sized chair for the middle-sized bear, and a great, huge chair for the great, huge bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in. A little bed for the little, small, wee bear. A middle-sized bed for the middle-sized bear. And a great, huge bed for the great, huge bear. See their beds? Here's their bowls. One day, after they had made their porridge for breakfast and poured it into their porridge bowls, they walked out into the woods while the porridge was cooling. It was too hot. And while they were walking, a little girl named Goldilocks came to their house. First, she looked in the window. Then she peeped in at the keyhole. And seeing no one was at home, she lifted the latch. The door opened before her, and in she went. There's Goldilocks. How pleased Goldilocks was when she saw the steaming porridge on the table. The sweet smell of the porridge with roasted nuts, honey, and berries filled the room. It was so tempting that Goldilocks set about helping herself. First, she tasted the porridge in the great, huge bear, but it was too hot. Then she tasted the porridge of the middle-sized bear, but it was too cold. And then she tried the porridge of the little, small, wee bear, and it was neither too hot nor too cold. It was just right. She liked it so much that she ate it all up. Then Goldilocks sat down in a chair of the great, huge bear, but it was too hard for her. Then she sat in the chair of the middle-sized bear, but it was too soft for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the little wee bear. And this chair was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So Goldilocks seated herself in it, and there she sat until the bottom of the chair gave way, and down she came, plump up on the floor. She broke his chair. Then Goldilocks went upstairs to the bedroom in which the three bears slept. First, she lay upon the bed of the great, huge bear, but it was too high at the head for her. Now she lay down upon the middle bed of the middle-sized bear, but that was too high at the foot for her. Then she lay down upon the bed of the little, small, wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor foot, but just right. So she covered herself up comfy and fell fast asleep. By the time the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough to eat, so by this time, they decided to return home for breakfast. Now, Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody's been eating at my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great, rough, gruff voice. And when the middle-sized bear looked at hers, she saw the spoon was standing in it too. "Someone has been eating my porridge," said the middle-sized bear in the middle voice. Then the little, small, wee bear looked at his bowl, and the spoon was in the porridge bowl, and the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Upon this, the three bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up little, small, wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Now Goldilocks had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair, and the great, huge bear, "Somebody's been sitting in my chair," said the great, huge bear in his great, rough, huge voice. And Goldilocks had crumbled the soft cushion of the middle-sized bear, Somebody has been sitting in my chair, said the middle-sized bear in her middle-sized voice. And you know what Goldilocks had done to the third chair? Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom right out of it, said the little, small, wee bear in his little, soft, small, wee voice. Then the bears thought it necessary that they should make a further search. So they went upstairs to their bedroom. Now, Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. Somebody's been lying in my bed, said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had pulled the covers of the middle-sized bear out of place. Somebody's been lying in my bed, said the middle-sized bear in her middle voice. And then the little girl, the little small wee bear, came to look at his bed. There was Goldilocks, sleeping peacefully. Her long, shiny braids spread across his pillow. Little small wee bear just stared at her for a moment and didn't say anything. But then he cried, Somebody's been lying in my bed, and here she is. Goldilocks had heard in her sleep the great, rough, gruff voice of the great, huge bear and the middle voice of the middle-sized bear. But it was only as if she had heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little, small, wee voice of little, small, wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill and so like her own that it awakened her at once. Got them all looking at her. Up she started, and when she saw the three bears on one side of her bed, she tumbled herself off the other and ran to the window. Out Goldilocks jumped and ran away as fast as she could. Run, not looking behind her until she was very far away. And what happened to Goldilocks afterwards? No one can tell. But the three bears never saw anything more of her. And they lived happily ever after. Now, you get with your small group, and I want you, somebody be the Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and somebody be Goldilocks. And you retell your story of Goldilocks and the three bears. If you don't have anyone to share it with, just you retell it to an adult. And you might want to videotape some of your little skits and retells and send it to me on the comments on Cindy's Corner. I can't wait to see those comments. I can't wait to see you retelling and making a little skit out of it. I hope you have a great day. And remember, tell your friends and hit that thumbs up and subscribe and share me with your friends and tell them they don't want to miss story time with Cindy. Have a great day, and most important, give somebody a hug and tell them you love them.